Hey guys, how are you all doing? Welcome to my channel. So, today we are gonna see, what if Naruto was Descendant of Hamura Otsutsuki, part 1. So before we start, go check out the author of this fanfic TokehGecko, link is in the description, also subscribe if you enjoy the video, let's start the story. Sweat was pouring from his hairline to his eyebrows, as his eyes were scanning in rapid speed over the contents of the scroll in front of him. The scroll was huge, and unclasped, it was surrounding him completely. Mizuki-sensei told him he had to learn something from the scroll, and he was definitely going to. He was going to impress his teacher, impress the entirety of Konoha. His eyes roamed over many techniques, but most required a very high chakra control, as in Jounin level. He wasn't even a genin. Gritting his teeth he continued on, in the hopes of finding something he could actually work with. Blinking, he caught an empty square covering part of the scroll from side to side. Above the square it said, "Awakening of the dormant TokehGecko reinforcement pouring chakra into the area underneath might pull from the well of the unknown, but it almost surely might not. Large amount of chakra is necessary. Will turn lethal if result failure." Naruto's eyes widened as he only truly read pour chakra in square and large amount of chakra. Oh yeah. Amount of chakra, huh? So high chakra control isn't needed. I hope I have enough, Iruka-sensei once said. I might just have a whole lot. Enthusiastically, Naruto quickly put his hand down on the square and poured chakra into it. What followed was an eruption of red and blue chakra around the blonde boy. And then there was pain. So much pain. He wanted to scream, but he couldn't move his mouth, he couldn't move anything. He felt his jaw pop painfully, his arms burn, his legs felt like they were slowly being cut off by blunt scissors, and his head like it was being smashed into pulp by hammers. He couldn't even writhe around, as his own chakra lifted him off the ground and held him in midair. His view slowly turned completely dark until he stood in front of a massive cage. Interesting, human. To think you have his blood running through your veins. You might just become someone of worth. He could comprehend the words so easily, but he couldn't talk back to the voice from behind the cage. His sight vanished again, and he found himself back in the forest, with the scrolls still all over the floor. The pain was no longer there, and he could move his body again. Flexing his arms and kicking around a bit, he came to the startling realization that he felt better than ever. Breathing in through the nose, he also felt fresher. What happened? I finally found you. Whipping his head around, he stood face to face with Yamino Iruka, one of his teachers. Yo, Iruka-sensei. What do you think you're doing with that scroll? That's the forbidden scroll, Naruto. You're not allowed to even touch it. Naruto's enthusiastic look changed to a stupefied one. What? But Mizuki-sensei told me if I could learn jutsu from this scroll, I would become an instant genin. He said so. Mizuki? Iruka clenched his fists and guarded Naruto all of a sudden. He lied to you, Naruto. Here his gaze hardened as he stared up to one particular tree. Didn't you, Mizuki? Of course I did. With a shunshin, the gray-haired Chunin appeared in front of them. This demon brat is such a fool, falling for a trick like this so easily. I can't believe everyone in this village is afraid of the little moron. Afraid? Don't listen to him, Naruto. Mizuki shook his head at his colleague. Don't stand in my way, Iruka. You know who the better shinobi is between the two of us. Don't make me kill you. What are you, Mizuki? What the hell? What's going on? Iruka was at a loss for words. I am working for an enemy of the leaf. He wants that. He pointed to the scroll on the ground near Naruto. It is always highly guarded, but somehow the Hokage is always soft on the Kyuubi brat. I figured he'd be able to get his hands on it. Now, die. Suddenly, a huge shuriken ripped through Iruka's clothing from behind and pierced him deeply in the back. The Mizuki in front of them vanished, clearly being a bunshin. As Iruka fell to the ground, Naruto was completely shocked. Kyuubi brat. The real Mizuki landed with both feet on Iruka's back and ignored the pain shriek that followed and instead faced Naruto. He ruthlessly ripped the shuriken from Iruka's back, eliciting yet another scream of pain from Iruka. Yeah, you're Kyuubi. You never wondered why everyone in the village hates your guts. Why do you have no friends? It's because you're Kyuubi. What? Don't listen to him, Naruto. You're not the Kyuubi. Iruka got cut off as Mizuki harshly stomped on the wound on Iruka's back. Shut up or this shuriken gonna tear your head off, weak trash. With a mad high chuckle he turned back to Naruto. You're not supposed to be alive, demon boy. The Kyuubi couldn't be killed in any normal way, so the fourth Hokage had to seal it into a newborn baby. That was you. The baby was supposed to die and take the Kyuubi with it to the afterlife. But yeah, like the scum that you are, you survived, keeping the Kyuubi alive inside of you. That's why everyone hates you, you little shit. Naruto had turned completely catatonic and missed the dark chuckle from inside of him. And then without warning, the blonde boy screamed. Mizuki, still standing on Iruka's back, flinched at the sudden scream. After a short second or two, Mizuki snapped out of it and frowned at the screaming boy in front of him. Looks like he lost it. What a useless existence you are. Mizuki moved to slap Naruto out of screaming like a madman, and, as soon as he did. He wanted to scream, really he did. But he couldn't. As soon as Mizuki touched Naruto's cheek with his hand to slap him out of his funk, something out of this world happened. It felt like life drained out of him. He couldn't take his hand back because, as soon as he touched Naruto, the blonde boy grabbed his arm. The moment he touched him, Mizuki felt extremely weak and he could feel himself turning tired very rapidly. He managed to take a look at the hand that was still on Naruto's cheek and was shocked to see it had turned really old. And then there was darkness. Mizuki had died of old age. As the gray-haired Chunin withered to almost nothing to the ground, Naruto was still so angry and shocked. That was when the Anbu appeared, with the third Hokage in tow. Naruto. What happened here? It was then that Naruto noticed that Iruka underneath Mizuki, as the traitor had been standing on him, had died as well. Also from old age. How very interesting. Who would have guessed that this Uzumaki child had Otsutsuki blood and his ability to think Hamura's dark skill would ever resurface. This human will become a true menace to this world. This means the return of the Black Apple. Kyuubi actually laughed out loud, as in the real world, Naruto fainted from shock. It is an honor to be sealed into a direct descendant of the Otsutsuki. If ever I feared anyone besides Kagaya Otsutsuki, it was definitely her dark son, Hamura Otsutsuki. Even the father had trouble dealing with his brother. Outside of Naruto's mindscape, Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't know what to make of the situation. Two Konoha Chunin were dead and had apparently turned very old in a very short amount of time. He never heard of something like this. Did Naruto somehow have the ability to make people older and then die of old age? Crouching down near the two corpses, Hiruzen instantly noticed that the ground around them was also drained of life. I don't know what to say, Hokage-sama, as soon as I enter his mind, there is only darkness. There is nothing to see. No memories, no dreams, no ambitions or anything regarding his past. There is nothing. It's like he's completely empty. Yamanaka Inoichi, Konoha's best mindwalker, seemed completely fine after disconnecting from Naruto's mind. After the Forbidden Scroll incident, Naruto was moved to the hospital. Today would make it day 2 in the hospital. To be honest, I was afraid of catching a glimpse or even encountering the Kyuubi, but there was nothing. I've never seen this before, Hokage-sama. Even brain-dead shinobi have more to show inside. And yet, he's perfectly fine. The aging fire leader let out. His health is outstanding, the nurses say. He's suffering from severe chakra exhaustion, which is rather unlikely for a Jinchuriki. What will you do with him now? You told me he knows he killed both Mizuki and Iruka-san. Yes, although I know it was all in self-defense. I'd been watching, after all. His brow furrowed. But the all-viewing orb hasn't shown me enough. All I saw was Mizuki moving to hit Naruto in the face. The hit never really connected. Could it have been the Kyuubi? No. We would have surely sensed it. I had 3 of the highest capable sensor nin with me. They say there wasn't even chakra used. Hiruzen sighed like a very old man. I'll make him genin. My plan was for him to learn the Kage Bunshin from the scroll, but I watched him put his hand on something, and then that sudden explosion of chakra, I have no idea what happened. And the scroll. I've managed to pin it down to Awakening of the Dormant. But Naruto's parents are Namikaze Minato and Uzumaki Kushina. The only Kekai Genkai he could possibly have is more of a trait than an ability. The Uzumaki longevity. I never would have guessed the ability backfired like this. It'll take a while for me to figure things out for him. Hamura never had a Biju inside of him, I couldn't possibly imagine how hard it was for him to cope. At least I can heal and organize, Hamura had no one. Naruto's mind was blasted by images of both Iruka's and Mizuki's entire lives. Their memories became his memory, while he also retained his original. It is no wonder Hamura turned to the dark soon after they sealed their mother. I always wondered how he was always so knowledgeable. Ugh. Kyuubi looked down on the small human form lying in front of his cage. It seems he has the healing capacity of the Otsutsuki. I figured he would stay comatose for another week, taking my own influence on him into account even. That weird technique from that scroll really did wonders for my Jinchuriki. The Biju narrowed his eyes at the waking human. His might just exceed my own. Who are you? I heard you talking. You may call me Kurama. Kurama. Otherwise known as the Kyuubi. Kyuubi by now, Naruto was standing up and pointing. You're the reason everyone hates me. I am also the reason you still live. Exactly. We both should have died. Silly human. That human was lying. A person like me can never die. And if you play your cards right, neither can you. What are you talking about? You have the blood of an ancient legend, Naruto. I know a few things about the ability you have. I will teach you. What the hell are you talking about? You're Kyuubi. The blonde started looking around. Where the hell am I? This is a creepy place. The inside of your mind. It is quite the abyss at the moment. After what you did, things have changed here. The only one who can see things here, as of now, is its owner. Or in your case, since I'm sealed inside of you, owners. You're talking gibberish, Kyuubi. Call me Kurama. It is my given name. Kyuubi simply means 9 tails. It is not a name. Naruto pinched himself. I must be dreaming. Kyuubi is actually talking to me. Kurama cursed as Naruto slowly vanished from his view. That's bad, as soon as he wakes up in the real world, the memories of those 2 humans will bombard him into submission. The giant fox then shrugged. But it's also good, he'll come back here, and then he'll be easier to talk to. Mizuki. Yes, Orochimaru-sama. I will do as you say. Iruka. So that's the Kyuubi kid, huh? Doesn't really look like a real threat to me. But I'll keep my distance just the same. Mizuki. Congratulations, Iruka. We're both Chunin, can you believe it? Iruka. Perform the henge, Naruto. Geez, and this kid is supposed to be all dangerous, he can't even transform. Mizuki. Sasuke is top of the class, as you predicted. I can take him out of Konoha, and to you, if you want. Don't be a fool, Mizuki. You're still too weak. I will give you power soon, more power. Iruka. No, you idiot, you didn't find me. I found you. Quit skipping class. Naruto screamed as loud as he could, as he just didn't know who he was. The third was standing by his bed and quickly held his hand, but it did nothing to assuage the situation. Naruto. Naruto. But Naruto was already succumbing to unconsciousness. I am Naruto. Was the last thing the third heard. Welcome back, Naruto. What's going on with me? Who am I? I am Naruto. Or Mizuki. Iruka. Iruka-sensei. Mizuki-sensei. Naruto. The demon brat. Kurama watched as Naruto fell to his knees, grabbing his head in desperation. Who am I? Calm down. But he couldn't. He kept talking to himself. Am I the demon brat? I am Iruka. Kurama released a massive amount of killer intent to scare the confusion out of the blonde. It took a few seconds, but Naruto finally managed to look up to Kurama. Kurama, right. Kyuubi. This means I must be the demon brat. Calm down. After observing the human and contemplating on whether telling the boy everything would be too much, Kurama decided he didn't really care much for the human psyche. He could fix it anyway. Probably. Maybe. Listen to me very carefully. You're Uzumaki Naruto. When you pour chakra into that sealed Fuinjutsu in the Forbidden Scroll, you have awakened your Kekkei Genkai. With a small blast of chakra, Kyuubi quickly stopped Naruto from talking. Don't interrupt me, Naruto. Your bloodline limit is one only seen once before in this world. In one man. The twin brother of the Sage of the Six Paths. Kurama regarded Naruto in a very serious light and hesitated in continuing before he nodded to himself and decided. I know everything you know, Naruto. I believe it is also time for you to know everything I know. And thus Kurama told him about the Sage of the Six Paths of Kagaya Otsutsuki and her 2 sons of Hagoromo and his 2 sons of Uchiha Madara and Senju Hashirama of the creation of the shinobi countries and villages. And of his parents, Namikaze Minato and Uzumaki Kushina. He didn't tell Naruto how cursed the power that was bestowed upon him was. Just like with Hamura, it might just kill the brightness inside Naruto. No, some things were better left unsaid. This fragile old man shouldn't be Hokage. Mizuki. Memories, visions, opinions, experiences. If only the Yondaime Hokage hadn't sacrificed himself. Iruka. Thanks to Kurama, Naruto could now at least differentiate between memories he was blasted with as soon as he came face to face with someone. It still felt as if he was thinking these things, as if he lived through these memories. It was still so, everything was still so confusing. You're lucky I am sealed inside of you. Without me, you would be completely lost now. Of course, eventually, your mind would be able to comprehend, but I just sped up the process. Human minds are inferior to ours, you see. At that moment, Naruto was seated in front of Hiruzen's desk. Just like with every other person, Naruto was bombarded with images in his head regarding the person he was facing. Memories of how Mizuki and Iruka had interacted with the aging leader of fire. And also with how Iruka and Mizuki regarded the third. It seemed like a sneaky way of information gathering. Do you feel any different, Naruto-kun? Of course he did. He had completely absorbed the essences of Iruka and Mizuki. He could even perform every technique they held in their arsenal. But Kurama advised him not to share this certain fact with anyone. He could understand why this was important. Old man. I killed Iruka-sensei. The third narrowed his eyes gently here. Well, it is Triami no Iruka-sen has passed away, I think you are hardly to blame. While being 12 years old, Naruto could somehow understand words spoken to him with a lot more ease. This obviously because of the recent absorption of 2 adult humans. I don't understand, Jiji, that they just Mizuki-sensei, Naruto paused as he tried to gather the right words. He tried to kill me, an old man. The blonde watched his leader nod his head understandingly. I know, Naruto-kun. Then? He dropped his head. I don't know what happened. He mumbled. Self-defense is what happened, Naruto-kun. However, your self-defense was quite extreme. Unfortunately, it swept Iruka-sen along. My self-defense extreme? What? I don't even remember what happened. The boy rose from his seat. What did I do, old man? Mizuki-sensei said I was Kyuubi. You seem proficient in the art of deception already, human. Kurama rumbled from inside. You're not Kyuubi, Naruto. The demon is sealed inside of you, that's it. You're Uzumaki Naruto. The fire leader roared, also getting up from his seat. I am also the son of Namikaze Minato and Uzumaki Kushina, but I'm not supposed to know this, huh? Naruto glared at his leader defiantly, but soon dropped his head again. I don't know what to do, Jiji. You looked into the forbidden scroll, Naruto-kun. What did you learn? I just poured chakra into some weird part somewhere. At first there was an explosion of chakra, but after that, I didn't seem any different. Let me tell you something, Naruto-kun. Pay attention. Naruto's head shot up. The only thing you did was touch Mizuki. Apparently, just a simple touch is enough to make someone else die of old age. This ability is completely unheard of. Since Iruka-sen was touching Mizuki and thus indirectly you, he was met with the same fate. Your touch is very dangerous and we don't know if it's only just coming for your hands. But for now the third opened a drawer from his desk. Naruto caught the dark green gloves the third threw at him. Those are chakra constricting gloves, Naruto-kun. They stop the flow of chakra only for the one who wears them. They're unnecessary, no chakra is involved in the drain. You can control your own ability. It's a simple matter of need or no need. Kurama informed him. Just a simple touch is enough to drain anyone, and not just from your hands. Dark green, huh? I kinda like the color. Naruto grinned weakly as he put them on. Jiji, what happens now? Sarutobi Hiruzen narrowed his eyes and a challenging smile formed on his face. Perform Bunshin, Naruto-kun. He was bombarded with knowledge from both Mizuki and Iruka. The Bunshin was nothing now. Hiruzen narrowed his eyes at how easily the boy now performed the Bunshin. The jutsu the boy before had the most trouble with. Interesting, that was perfect, Naruto-kun. I don't understand. Naruto pretended as he took a look at his D-ranked illusion. How? Tenj, Naruto-kun. But the flash, the Bunshin changed into an Anbu. Hiruzen immediately recognized this Anbu to be Tenzu. He was there when Naruto killed Mizuki. Perfect, as well. Now, Kawarimi. It was quick, but Naruto had easily switched places with a plant in the corner of the room. Hiruzen smiled unsurely. Well, I guess that qualifies you as Genin, Naruto-kun. But the old man was sure he would keep an eye on Naruto. This sudden mastery of the 3 basics seemed very suspicious. And he already had an idea on how this was possible. I am unaware of the specifics, but you hold the ability to drain others of their entirety. My father and his twin brother are the 2 eldest sons of Kagaya Otsutsuki. My father's name was Hamura Otsutsuki and his twin brother was called Hamura Otsutsuki. They had amazing abilities. My father had the Rinnegan, while his brother had the Byakugan. When it came to Dojutsu, my father clearly was the better of the 2. But when it came to other skills, Hamura was better. Both held similar abilities, like the ability of creation and flight. But where my father had control over life, Hamura held the ability of death, as you have already experienced. When I touch someone, I get their everything. Just about, but you receive their chakra permanently. This will make you a very powerful human. You gain their knowledge and their presence. But I don't believe you will be able to drain Kekkei Genkai. A normal human would go insane, but Hamura was no normal human, and neither are you. Kurama closed his eyes. Even when I and the other Biju teamed up with my father and fought against Hamura, we always seemed to be losing. What happened to their mother, this Kagaya? She went crazy and wanted to kill my father and Hamura. In her eyes, they had stolen a lot of her chakra. Seeing no other way, the 2 brothers were forced to work together to defeat their mother. Hamura, at this stage, was still pure. But after having absorbed so many other humans, it was inevitable he went down a different path than father. After they defeated Kagaya, my father's new enemy was his own brother. You see, Hamura wanted to change the world and make it one. After having absorbed so many lives, he went mad due to all those different perspectives. But the same thing will happen to me, then. No. Because unlike you, Hamura didn't have a Biju sealed inside of him. I am inside you, in your mind. I can organize your thoughts. Right now, it's still very confusing since I have limited access. I need more. All you have to do to prevent going mad is. Naruto narrowed his eyes. Open this gate and allow us to become true partners. As Naruto slowly strolled towards a training ground the old man told him to go to, he couldn't help but whistle a jovial tune. He also opted to go about differently when it came to his clothing. He had his hands in the pockets of his dark green trunks as he looked at himself. He wore a grey short-sleeved hoodie with an open sleeveless thin dark green jacket covering it. His gloves were dark green as well. His sandals weren't any different, just black ones, his socks were grey. His sleeveless jacket had pockets similar to those of a Jounin uniform. His Hittite was gone, the metal was sewed on the wrist part of the glove of his right hand. He was thinking about getting some glasses because it seemed as if his eyes were turning lighter by the day. Kurama had an idea about that, though. Now that they were true partners, Naruto felt like a totally different person. Confidence oozed off of him and he felt like he could take on the entire world more than once a day. Kurama had explained to him what being true partners meant. Their chakra, his and Kurama's, they would no longer be clashing constantly. So he could start working on his chakra control earnestly without feeling completely hopeless about it. Him and the Kyuubi had found out about another thing, though. Imi no Iruka was a sensor nin. It made sense, as it was always Iruka who found him when he was skipping class. And thinking back, he remembered how Iruka located Mizuki so easily that night. But now Naruto was also a sensor nin. And the greatest part was that since he remembers what Iruka remembers, it came as second nature. He could sense a whole lot of shinobi around him as he walked through Konoha. It was weird, but with the way he felt, it didn't really feel like Mizuki or Iruka died. It was more like they just started living inside of him. Of course, he still felt horrible about Iruka's death. Kurama was a really great help when it came to the sudden memory blasts, insight, and opinion moments. Those would only make it even more painful. He suddenly felt a shinobi approaching in high speed and easily noticed how it stopped in a tree about 20 meters to his left. Clearly, this shinobi was observing him. Could it be Anbu? This guy has a decent amount of chakra. Iruka's insight told him this guy was definitely a Jounin. Most likely this is your new teacher. That old human told you were going to be tested, right? Yeah, to get into a team of 3 genin and a Jounin as instructor. I wonder who my teammates will be. In the tree, Kakashi had definitely noticed that Naruto had noticed him. The boy's got good instincts. If important, I will simply allow them to pass. It is important for your growth and maturity. Kurama had told him this before. Somehow, he wished he didn't see what came next. Iruka? Nah, Iruka-sensei. Haruno Sakura, age 10. Why is he even in our class? He's only goofing around all the time and he's too stupid to understand anything. I like it when he's not here, I like it better when he skips class. Everyone is entitled to the same amount of tutelage, Sakura-chan. Naruto is just difficult. Difficult? The pink-haired girl snorted. He's annoying, loud, and hopeless. I mean, look at Sasuke-kun. Mizuki. Hey, Sasuke-kun. Mizuki-sensei. You're going to be paired with Naruto for a spar tomorrow. Think you can take him? That loser. Even a dead infant could take him down. He's a worthless fool. Don't be so harsh, Sasuke-kun. He might just surprise you. The truth is always harsh. We don't live in dreams, that dead last loser does. Naruto shot his eyes in frustration and emotional pain. Those 2 memory blasts hit him as soon as he saw his future 2 teammates. Haruno Sakura and Uchiha Sasuke. He quickly memorized the way their chakra felt for later use and approached them. Grow up, Naruto. Don't dote after people like a useless mongrel. Naruto understood. He completely understood what Kurama meant with those words. These 2 never really liked him. In fact, they downright hated him. Naruto barely held back a glare as they were about to notice his approach. They are nothing but trash. Kurama didn't like the wording much, but it was at least a step into a better direction. The Biju would make sure Naruto wouldn't turn too destructive. For his standards, anyway. What are you doing here? Didn't you fail? Naruto considered the pink-haired girl with a dead stare, ignored her, and offered the same stare to Sasuke for the same amount of time. A split second. Then he walked over to a vacant spot near a tree, dropped himself down, and leaned against it. Don't ignore me. Why are you here? HN. So you're our 3rd teammate. Sasuke answered Sakura's question easily. Useless. The Uchiha were not pleased at all. A weak fangirl and a dead last. Fucking fantastic. How can you be our 3rd teammate? You didn't even pass the test. You can't even perform the bunshin. Sasuke ignored Sakura as well and chose another tree to lean against. At least the dead last stays quiet. That's the first time I've seen him do something useful. Sasuke-kun. The girl watched as both boys closed their eyes and ignored her. Don't ignore me, Naruto. Yo. She shrieked like a wet cat. Naruto and Sasuke both opened their eyes to see a gray-haired jounin standing near Sakura all of a sudden. Name's Hada Kakashi. I will be testing you on whether you have the skills needed to be genin. If you have the necessary talent, we'll do introductions. If you don't, I don't need to know anything about you. So with that, he produced 2 bells from his pocket and dangled them in front of the 3 fresh genin. 2 bells. If you can snatch one, you will be genin. No rules, you have 2 hours. Sasuke instantly vanished. Sakura blinked, but soon followed suit. Naruto, however, got bombarded with sudden knowledge from Iruka. Iruka. A Yondame's bell test. It's a test on teamwork. It tests whether you can rely on and work with people you've never worked with before. It's convenient, isn't it? This Iruka human has a vast amount of knowledge of Konoha's inner workings. You should choose well on who you absorb next time. A higher rank shinobi seems wise. 2 bells, huh? Naruto muttered as he rose from his position. Doesn't it seem a bit too obvious, Kakashi-sensei? Here, Naruto dryly winked and slowly walked away from the jounin. 2 hours, huh? I'll show you. Those 2 will never work with me. Kakashi's eyes narrowed dangerously. He knows the purpose of this test in just under 5 seconds. As the blonde Jinchuriki slowly walked through the shadows of trees, he couldn't help but wonder about it. I'll be genin if I work alongside those 2. Those 2 who hate my guts. Why would I want teammates who hate my guts? No, I'm not going to be a fool anymore. I want teammates who will watch my back. Screw those 2. For the next 2 hours, I'm gonna sleep. Without me cooperating, they will fail, as well. He snorted shortly. They deserve to fail. Maybe someday I'll find teammates who don't hate me. A wise decision. You need competent people around you. Competent people who want to watch your back. You're right, Kurama. I'm just gonna sit this one out. He couldn't really pinpoint the feeling, but if he'd have to guess, arrogance. Naruto chuckled to himself as he watched Sasuke fruitlessly trying to get the upper hand on Hada Kakashi. Hada Kakashi, supposedly wielder of 1,000 jutsu, carries 1 Sharingan eye of his deceased teammate Uchiha Obito. Both Iruka and Mizuki knew this, huh? Naruto wondered to himself as he realized he was growing more accustomed to the memory blasts. How come I didn't recognize his chakra before? Memories, humans are quite fickle about them. Kurama interjected. I'd venture a guess here that this Kakashi wasn't close to either Iruka or Mizuki. This touch and absorbent could become quite addictive. The blonde genin would be tilted his head in wonder. Why don't I just drain everyone of their essence? You're still weak, Naruto. Besides you being weak, there's also the question on whether your actions will become too noticeable. A higher ranked jounin such as Hada Kakashi, he will be missed. You will probably be dealt with in a manner you are not particularly fond of. In the field, Sasuke was just releasing a fire technique on Kakashi. The jounin had vanished even before Sasuke had released the jutsu. I suppose. Naruto agreed. He recognized the technique Kakashi used on Sasuke instantly, thanks to both Mizuki's and Iruka's memories inside of him. Doten, Shinshu Zanshu no Jutsu, huh? With that, he came to the startling realization that he already knew many jutsu. He knew all the jutsu Iruka and Mizuki knew, after all. But he wasn't the hothead he had been before anymore. No, he now had thought patterns average from himself, Mizuki, and Iruka. He grinned as he rose from his position. He didn't find Sasuke's head sticking out of the ground funny at all. Well, maybe a little bit still. The old Naruto would laugh next month. Uchiha Sasuke. He has lost his entire family thanks to his older brother, Uchiha Itachi, slaughtering them all. He is one of Orochimaru-sama's targets. I forgot to tell Kabuto-sama in what team he's going to be placed. Orochimaru-sama. Kabuto-sama. Jinchuriki narrowed his eyes as a visual memory blast hit him, and he knew exactly who Orochimaru and Yakushi Kabuto were. Kabuto is currently a genin from Konoha and a spy for Orochimaru, who is the leader of Itachi. Kurama chuckled madly. It seems Iruka is not the only one who's useful. This Mizuki human knows a thing or two, as well. In the field, Sasuke was desperately trying to dig himself up from the ground, to no avail. Naruto watched how Sakura came running, but suddenly screamed and fainted as soon as she saw Sasuke's head sticking out from the ground. Before, Naruto would be all over Sakura, protecting her and whatnot. But now, he wasn't even thinking about it. Itachi, huh? This Orochimaru guy sounds interesting. Memories from both Iruka and Mizuki told Naruto that Orochimaru was a missing nin. He was a teammate to Jiraiya and Tsunade, and together they were the legendary Sannin. Students of the current Hokage, Sarutobi Hiruzen. I can actually drain anyone outside of Konoha easily, right? Yes. That shouldn't be too much of a problem. The Great Fox Demon was amused. It is fun to be on this side of the Otsutsuki. So you're not trying to catch these bells, Naruto? The blonde had sensed the jounin a minute ago, so he calmly turned around and regarded Kakashi with a bored look. You're a jounin. An academy student like me can't possibly succeed without the help of those two. He nodded over his shoulder at Sakura and Sasuke. I don't plan on doing useless things, Kakashi-san. You'll go back to the academy if things continue like this. Perhaps that is for the best then. Here, the Kyuubi Jinchuriki actually grinned. Or were you perhaps ordered to pass us? The Kyuubi Jinchuriki and the last Uchiha sent back to the academy doesn't sound good, not good at all. Careful. There's a law on that, remember? The jovial tone the jounin was using was suddenly gone. Ah. Naruto scratched the back of his head in mock regret. My bad, Kakashi-san. The blonde then sighed as he considered the jounin in front of him. Honestly, though, I'd rather be sent back to the academy than to be in a team where I'm not wanted. It looks like he's showing his true self. I can't really respond to his comment, though. Kakashi put his Icha book away. You'd waste another whole year. Just because you don't want to be in a team with Sakura and Sasuke. Kakashi held back a blink as Naruto actually sent him a glance of utter boredom. Don't you think that's the wrong question to ask, Kakashi-san? The Jinchuriki shook his head and turned away from the jounin. I'll clarify. I'd rather be a civilian than be on a team that will get me killed. Panting, and with his hands on his knees, he considered his options. The pink-haired useless existence wouldn't be of any help. Perhaps that blonde nuisance could prove to be enough of a distraction for him to take the bells. Maybe he'd even give the dope a bell afterwards for the provided assistance. Probably not. Uchiha Sasuke glared at his nonchalant opponent, who was slowly flipping pages of a small book in his hands. The Uchiha didn't take well to being underestimated. Gritting his teeth, the raven-haired boy chose to retreat and find his blonde classmate. After a good 5 minutes, Sasuke finally found the blonde slumped over against a tree, peacefully sleeping. He resisted the urge to poke a kunai through his chest and instead shoved him awake. At last. Sasuke. Let's take down that jounin together. Nah. Sasuke blinked as Naruto went back to sleep. What just happened? He was about to shove the blonde some more, but suddenly found himself pinned against the same tree the blonde was sleeping against. More noticeably though was the kunai resting against the skin just under his right eye. Touch me again and say goodbye to one of your eyes, Sasuke. He swallowed nervously. With the way the kunai was positioned, Sasuke knew it wasn't impossible for Naruto to take his eye out. Pushing Sasuke to the right from himself, Naruto fell back to the ground and tried to make himself comfortable against the tree once more. Leave me alone. Not thinking about how easy Naruto had him pinned against that tree, he tried again. Look, we can pass this test without Sakura. Despite you being dead last, I think you'll be less of a nuisance than her in a team. He scoffed as he turned away from him and stared at the direction he thought Kakashi was still waiting at. She'll just die from being too useless. Turning back around, Sasuke gritted his teeth as he realized Naruto had the audacity to snore. Another voice stopped him from waking the blonde up again. Looks like he won't be of any help, Sasuke-kun. Turning quickly and grabbing a kunai, Sasuke braced himself. But Kakashi was still reading his Icha. Ah, no need to be so nervous, Sasuke-kun. It is you who should be attacking me, after all. I wasn't expecting anything from a dead last, anyway. I'll get those bells myself. Launching himself forward, Sasuke once again found himself trapped. This time, in a tree. Damn you. Kakashi simply giggled as he walked away. Oh, Kikyo-chan, you're so naughty. Behave. Sakura finally woke up from her nightmare of Sasuke being decapitated and took in her surroundings. She quickly remembered she was taking another test to become a genin and tried to locate any of the others. To her surprise, Kakashi was lying down on the ground quite close to her, sleeping with an orange book on top of his head. Chance. As she reached for the bells, she suddenly found herself with her back on the ground. How rude to attack a man while he's sleeping. Kakashi reprimanded as he walked away from the girl. The would-be genin realized Kakashi must have used Kawarimi with herself and at the same time bound her feet and hands behind her back. I can't free myself. No need to scream. The departing jounin calmly let out. There's no one near to hear you anyway. Hearing sounds, Naruto slowly opened his right eye to see Sasuke fruitlessly trying to escape from the tree his body was entrapped in. Only his head was sticking out. Pointing his finger at the Uchiha, Naruto laughed. Haha. Useless. Shut up, dead last. I'll kill you when I get out of here. Within that same second, Naruto was in front of the Uchiha with a kunai in Sasuke's mouth as he was still screaming out the threat. How about you shut up before I make your entire face a fucking mouth? He was dead serious. Naruto was dead serious. Sasuke realized this as Naruto was glaring the mother of all glares down at him. There was no smile on the blonde's face. No grin or even a scowl. Just dead neutralism. I think we should both decide that you will never call me a dead last again, right, Sasuke? The Uchiha shivered a bit as Naruto let a little killing intent get carried along with the question. With the kunai positioned as it was, Sasuke couldn't even nod his head. Satisfied, Naruto removed the kunai from Sasuke's mouth and walked away. Get yourself out of that tree, man. Taking a look over his shoulder, he added. You look ridiculous. That was pretty disturbing. Sighing, Naruto stared at Kakashi in slight wonder. They had walked quite a distance away from Sasuke when Kakashi suddenly appeared in front of him. He asked for it. The Jounin tilted his head. I don't think I heard him asking for a kunai in his mouth. With a grin, Naruto also tilted his head. It was a very silent question. You had to have been there. He suddenly got in a fighting position, making Kakashi adjust his own stance slightly. Now the blonde wanted to fight. But we both know that wasn't a real kunai. Not like this one. He started as he grabbed a real kunai from his holster. Throwing it at the Jounin, Naruto had already gathered chakra to perform a kawarimi with the thrown kunai to surprise the Jounin. Impressed, the Jounin dodged and allowed Naruto to sail past him and quickly ducked under 3 shuriken thrown over the blonde's shoulder. You like wasting chakra. Kakashi stated. Performing hand seals, Naruto ignored the Jounin and simply grinned. Taiju kawarimi. Kakashi sensed that Naruto had gathered a lot of chakra and realized the blonde was trying to prove his point. Yeah, wasting chakra is my thing. The book in Kakashi's right hand had turned into Naruto. That was when Kakashi turned serious. No, this concerned Icha. This was where he had to turn serious. I had to fail them, Hokage-sama. They weren't working together at all. Be that as it may, you'll have to gather them once again. The Kyuubi Jinchuriki and the last of the Uchiha have to become genin as of now. Test them again and force teamwork as you go. The copycat ninja sighed. He was seated in front of the Hokage as both of them were discussing the test. Sensei-san, he's become quite jaded. That is understandable, considering. Hiruzen placed his hands on the table and rested his chin on them. What are his skills? He covered a wide area with his chakra to be able to replace himself with everything in said area. He called it the advanced replacement technique. Kakashi chuckled here. It isn't unheard of, it just costs too much chakra. And it won't work on a Jounin, obviously, since it is slow and quite predictable. He's lucky he has that much chakra. What got to me though is at one time, he replaced himself with the bells. The Hokage chuckled mischievously. So he actually passed your test? Nah, I got the bells back before he could even touch them. But it was ingenious, I think he was trying to prove a point. That he didn't need the other two to get a bell. The gray-haired Jounin rubbed his head in slight frustration. He got this idea in his head that Sakura and Sasuke don't want to be a team with him. Well, can you blame him? His entire class was against him and even the teachers were. The only teacher that wasn't was Iruka and the boy killed him. Yes, you've told me. He has a very dangerous ability. He didn't show me anything dangerous, though. I still find it hard to believe that he got rid of 2 Chunin-leveled shinobi. It's what happened, Kakashi. And I have a suspicion that his ability is more advanced than what first meets the eye. If you notice anything out of the ordinary, you immediately report to me. Actually I think he's a sensor nin. He spotted me before while I was in hiding. Hiruzen's eyes narrowed dangerously. Kakashi, a former Anbu captain, in hiding, and he was still sensed. Exactly things like that you see, his skill, this uncanny ability of his. I think he can absorb people by touch. If what I think is true, he can also absorb their jutsu and their abilities. The Hokage's expression turned quite grave. You mean Iruka was a sensor nin? Uzumaki Naruto definitely wasn't. The next day. Sakura was happily walking next to her precious Sasuke-kun, following after Kakashi. She was pleasantly surprised to see Sasuke in front of her door in the morning. Of course, Kakashi was also there, but she hardly noticed. There was another test for them, another genin trial. They were now on the way to pick up the dead last of the class. Just like Sasuke, Naruto lived by himself. But unlike the Uchiha, Naruto didn't have an entire estate to himself. No, the blonde just had a small apartment located in the slums of Konoha. If Sakura wasn't paying all of her attention to Sasuke, she might have felt a bit of pity for Naruto. Sasuke, on the other hand, understood a bit more about Naruto now. Knocking on the door to Naruto's apartment, Kakashi felt something was off. He wasn't a sensor nin, but it did feel like there were a lot of people inside Naruto's apartment. Page Bunshin, maybe. But, as Naruto opened the door, the apartment was completely empty save for the blonde. And completely empty it was saved for a refrigerator, a small round table, and one dirty chair. This place stinks. Shut up, Sasuke. Seeing the blonde act like himself again, Sasuke considered the weird killing intent from the other day just as a one-time thing. Maybe the blonde had just been cranky or something. Kakashi had also used his nose, but smelled things all the others couldn't. Blood. Why are you guys here anyway? I'm busy. Busy with what? Definitely not with cleaning your apartment. The Uchiha continued as his eyes scanned his entire living quarters in the blink of an eye. The Jounin in their midst disagreed with Sasuke's observation. The blonde actually had been cleaning. Naruto was probably getting rid of all the blood. He could smell it even better now that everyone was inside. What had happened? Whose blood was this? Naruto's. It's so small. Came Sakura's voice. You live here by yourself? No, I just like to hang out here. Dryly turning from Sakura to Kakashi, he frowned. So? Why are you here? Trust. Sasuke and Sakura looked at each other and Naruto, while Naruto simply frowned at Kakashi. Kakashi had taken them back to the same training ground from yesterday. They were all now seated on the ground. That's what we're missing. Yesterday, 2 Genin teams passed their test. Team 8 under Yuuhi Kurenai consists of Inuzuka Kiba, Aburam Shino, and Hyuga Hinata. Team 10 is led by Saratobi Asuma and his students are Nara Shikamaru, Yamanaka Ino, and Akamichi Chouji. They have what you lack. They trust each other. Kakashi tilted his head left and right as he considered Sakura's question. Partially. They are all familiar with each other. They know each other. You three, on the other hand, don't know each other at all. Therefore, I'm going to ask you questions and you are going to answer me. Kakashi. Call me Kakashi-sensei, Naruto. And what is it? My assumption from yesterday is correct, then. You have to pass us because. The copycat quickly cut the blonde off. Also, partially. It's my turn to ask the questions now. He quickly continued, lest the other two would start asking what Naruto meant. Sasuke, what do you know about Sakura? Sasuke's reply was quick. Nothing. At which Sakura dropped her head in depression. Try harder. Sasuke scowled and glared at the gray-haired Jounin. She has pink hair. Her voice is very loud. Her last name is Haruka. Sakura looked like her heart had been flattened by stones. Kakashi semi-dropped his head and kept his gaze steady on the Uchiha. Haruno. Her name is Haruno Sakura. That's all I know. Which means I don't really care if one had a Sasuke translator on hand. Not good enough, Sasuke. Try harder. I am sure the other way around she knows more about you. That quip earned Kakashi a smoldering glare, but Sasuke tried again. She graduated with top marks close to some of my own. He then turned to the person in question, who seemed absolutely thrilled by this. With great delight she waited for his next comment. She is not ready to become a shinobi. The girl actually dropped backwards on the ground at that. Kakashi didn't reprimand the Uchiha, but motioned to the boy to continue. This was needed for the team. She has little to no skills. No wait, Sasuke mock thought about it. She has no skills. Except he slowly and begrudgingly let out, I think she has a photographic memory. She seemed to remember everything that was written down on the whiteboard in class. Sakura was back in a seated position with a blinding smile on her face. It was very annoying. Uchiha added. And she was back on the ground. Kakashi nodded his head. I suppose that'll do. My conclusion is that you don't know her at all. I will see to it that will change. Now, what do you know about Naruto? Why am I the only one getting these stupid questions? Kakashi simply offered a cheerful eye smile. He's the dead last. He can't remember anything. Naruto seemed unperturbed as Sasuke started. His so-called pranks he pulls off every day are a desperate cry for attention he only sometimes gets. At that, both Kakashi and Naruto lifted their eyebrows. That was pretty accurate. Sakura was swooning too much to hear. His clothes are ridiculous. Sasuke finished. Naruto looked down at his attire and actually agreed. You know what, Sasuke? Sasuke frowned at the blonde, daring him to tell him he was wrong about the orange monstrosity. Instead, he received a single nod. You're absolutely right. First thing I do after this weird meeting is get some new clothes. Still, that's not enough, Sasuke. Try some more. Chen. Sasuke looked at the ground as if he was thinking about whether to continue. He's hated by everyone. Huh? Sakura actually caught that. What do you mean? Sasuke didn't deem Sakura worthy enough for a reply. Yes, what do you mean, Sasuke? The young Avenger pondered if Kakashi was worthy enough for a reply, but in the end sighed and elaborated. The entire village hates him. It's obvious. Any moron can't see. Even blind morons can see. He pointedly looked at Sakura before turning back to Kakashi. Some fools see less than blind morons, though. That's not very nice, Sasuke. But Sakura didn't understand that the insult was aimed at her anyway, Kakashi realized. I suppose that's Ino. Why does everyone hate Naruto? The girl of the group suddenly asked. Naruto rolled his eyes at both Sasuke and Kakashi. They were real fools talking about it out in the open. He supposed he could come up with because of my pranks. I'm getting really ridiculous lately. Don't be stupid. Sasuke surprisingly reacted quickly. No amount of pranks can make everyone hate you. He locked eyes with the blonde. There's something else. Heh. Mind your own fucking business, Sasuke. The Uchiha glare was turned on instantly at Naruto's rude response. Naruto. Language. Kakashi quickly let out, but Sasuke continued back. As if anyone's interested in your pitiful life, dope. Alright, that's enough. Kakashi started to wonder if these two could be in a team together. What was the Sandaime thinking? Your turn, Naruto. Alright. The blonde started before Kakashi could say who he had to start with. Legendary wielder of the Sharingan. Sasuke immediately sat back in confusion at the weird opening. What? Added Kakashi. Dramatically, he raised both his arms over his head. It is rumored you know 1,000 because of that jutsu stealer. Very funny, Naruto. The lazy Jounin interjected. What do you know about Sasuke? Whoa, not fair. It seems Naruto still had his playful moments as he grinned at the Jounin. We all have to tell a story about each other, but you're not playing. Not cool, Kakashi. Sasuke agreed angrily, still a bit ticked about having to go first, but more about this Jounin having a Sharingan. You have a Sharingan, you are not an Uchiha. Obviously. Naruto quickly threw it in there. Alright, with a drawl and a sigh, Kakashi folded his arms and hung his head back a bit. In the war, one of my teammates was an Uchiha. He died, sacrificing himself to save me and my other teammate. He is a true hero of Konoha. He gave me his Sharingan eye before he died. The Uchiha seemed to accept this, also sensing the sadness the Jounin was trying to contain. What was his name? Uchiha Obito didn't leave anyone behind, he was an orphan. Sasuke dropped his head in mental pain, suddenly remembering the past, where the Uchiha were still alive. So, what do you know about Sasuke, Naruto? Working an eyebrow, Naruto sat cross-legged with an elbow on one of his knees and his head leaning into the palm of his hand as he decided to play this game. I know so much about young Uchiha Sasuke, where to start? He ignored Sasuke's glare and Kakashi's look of amusement. Even Sakura seemed a bit amused. I think Senju Hashirama is still alive because I don't know how else to explain that gigantic tree up his ass. Sakura turned red in embarrassment. Dope. Sasuke looked ready to murder the blonde at least 5 times. Naruto. Be serious. Kakashi was very clear. Fine, fine. And seriously, he did turn. Uchiha Sasuke is the only survivor of the Uchiha massacre. He is one of the only 2 Uchihas still alive in this world. The other is Uchiha Itachi, the one responsible for killing off the entire Uchiha clan. Kakashi dangerously narrowed his eyes and was quick enough to stop Sasuke from assaulting Naruto. Holding Sasuke in a lock, Kakashi wasn't sure on whether to let Naruto continue, but decided to let him and gestured so. I didn't mean to offend, Sasuke. The Jinchuriki tried to give them his most reassuring smile. Anyway, Sasuke has good taijutsu and ninjutsu, but I haven't seen him use ninjutsu yet. I've only seen him use the Katen. Kakaku no Jutsu, so yeah, he knows that one. The blonde looked up to the sky as he thought about all the information he had from Iruka and Mizuki and didn't know if he should share that. He graduated top of our class and he likes girls with long hair. That's not true. So you like girls with short hair? No. Old girls. Shut up, dead last. Kakashi was still holding him in a headlock. Oh, sorry. Naruto, still seated peacefully, bowed his head shortly at the not so peacefully Sasuke. I didn't know. Sakura was very interested in the topic. Didn't know what? Slowly turning to Sakura, Naruto explained. He's into boys. No. Sakura fell unconscious. I'm going to kill you with your own mouth, Naruto. My own what the hell, man? Calm down, Sasuke. Half an hour later. Sasuke was still glaring deep wounds into Naruto, but the blonde seemed oblivious. Obliviously cheerful. Seems you've finally woken up. I just had the worst nightmare. Groggily, the pink-haired girl rubbed her eyes as she focused on her surroundings. She then noticed where she was. No. Don't tell me it's true. Somewhere in the back of his mind, a little Sasuke thought it might get rid of a fangirl, but Sasuke instantly rectified the situation. Of course not, you idiot. But the girl could understand Naruto's logic. If Sasuke didn't like girls with longer short hair or those bald, then what? For fear of the answer, she quickly paid attention to Kakashi's waving hand in front of her. Now that you're back with us, Naruto can continue with you. Sure. Naruto plopped back down on the ground. Haruno Sakura also graduated with top marks, just below Sasuke and Samarias. She was bullied for a long time because of her large forehead, but that stopped as soon as she became friends with Yamanaka Ino. Here, he turned to Sakura. I think you should really be nicer to her, Sakura. The question mark hovered above Sakura for a moment. Naruto was surprisingly attentive during the academy, it seemed. She, just like all the other girls, grew her hair out to try and win Sasuke over. Naruto snorted, and surprisingly, so did Sasuke. It has proven fruitless. Naruto concluded dramatically with a deadpan expression. Quite superficial information, but it'll do. It simply proves certain points. Your turn, Sakura. Sasuke-kun is the rookie of the year. She immediately started. He likes girls with long hair. Clearly, she hadn't heard of Naruto. He lost his entire family at a young age and has a broken soul that needs to be repaired by the power of true love. Again, both Naruto and Sasuke snorted. One in amusement, the other in disgust. The only thing broken here will be Naruto's nose. Sasuke, don't interrupt. Hey, stay away from my nose. Sakura continued, as if they were all still paying attention. He knows many jutsu and will probably become a jounin in no time. Sakura, no assumptions, just what you really know. Kakashi supplied. What do I really know? The jounin nodded. Sakura looked at Sasuke and seemed very uncertain all of a sudden. I don't know a lot about him. What about Naruto? Guiltily, she offered the blonde a look of apologies. He even less. Kakashi sighed and clasped his hands together. Well, let's change that. Now tell us about yourselves. You start, Sakura. How can that idiot kill me with my own mouth? That's impossible. Naruto was thinking as he made his way back home. You are getting quite used to your ability. The old you is resurfacing rapidly and more powerfully. This is good. We don't want to become too noticeable. Yeah, I've realized the same thing. Naruto thought back. Especially last night gave me some much needed clarity. Kurama chuckled sinisterly. Yes, last night was very enlightening. So, I'm a genin now. I knew Kakashi had been ordered to pass us anyway. This means I'll be in a team with Sasuke and Sakura for quite some time. Wonder how that'll go. Never trust an Uchiha, Naruto. They are known as the emotional shinobi. Their emotions make them more powerful, but also less stable, mental-wise. Stab him in his back before he can stab you in yours. Nah, I'm not gonna stab that poor sap in his back. I'm going to cut his arms off and let him live. See what kind of shinobi he'll be without arms. HN, perhaps a leg, as well. Uchiha are quite gifted with their eyes. Yeah, maybe. But then he'll look ridiculous. And with no arms he won't. Their first C-rank mission. They had to escort Tazuna, a bridge builder, back to the country he came from. Wave Country. They were to also protect him from bandits. As Team 7 followed Tazuna, Naruto was having a mental conversation with Kurama. He called it Shinzui Bunshin. The clone of essence. Naruto understood. That means they're actually still alive, inside of me. Supposedly, but they are undoubtedly yours. I think they're just clones in which you have temporarily stored essence in. You should see them as slaves. Kurama paused, trying to remember whatever he could from centuries back. There are no hand seals for this technique. It is simply a sub-skill for your ability. You can just will it. I've seen my father's brother do it, he simply created them from out of his body, like an extension. They all had their own existence, their own character, but when it came to the blood, they were Hamura, they couldn't disobey his commands. The same will be true for you. You can always summon those you have absorbed and let them fight for you, they have no choice in the matter. How do I perform this Shinzui Bunshin? I do not know. Experiment. Wow, see those two idiots? What are they doing? Just standing around like that. They have concealed themselves in a jinjutsu. Apparently, they are supposed to be a puddle of water on the ground. They're weak. They won't add anything. And then, the duo moved to Kakashi. Naruto smiled and quickly jumped in front of the Kakashi, knocking the chains away with a kunai. Ooh-ah. The great Uzumaki. Naruto sees through your tricks. Move aside, brat. We'll kill your teacher, and then the old man. We won't kill you if you get lost. One of them uttered. Sasuke was shocked at the speed in which Naruto had moved, while Sakura still had to come to terms with it. Hang back, Naruto. These are the demon brothers of the mist. They are known for their poison. Carelessly shrugging, Naruto didn't hang back at all. Not only that, Kakashi-sensei. They work for Mamachi's abuser. How does he know that? Gozu, one of the demon brothers, thought. Only few have that information. Lizu didn't care and rushed for Naruto. Too bad you'll die young. He raged as his claw neared Naruto's face. Instead, Kakashi used Shunshin and knocked him out in one blow. You do realize I'm a jounin, right? Gozu, now the only still conscious, dropped to his knees on the ground and surrendered. Crap. The mist didn't let them see where Naruto disappeared to, so now Sasuke and Sakura were stuck protecting Tazuna with just the two of them. Kakashi was still fighting Zabuza in this horrid mist technique. Zabuza had ambushed them further down the road and Kakashi had quickly ordered them to stay put and guard Tazuna. After a while of exchanging blows, Kakashi was kicked away right into the water. They couldn't really see what happened, but Kakashi's voice suddenly yelled out for them to take Tazuna and retreat. Apparently, the Jounin was trapped in a water prison. He told his subordinates that, as long as he was trapped, so was the real Zabuza. Water clones of Zabuza were approaching them from a distance, and Kakashi told them water clones would lose their substance when they moved too far away from the caster. That's when Naruto jumped into the fray with no warning at all, leaving Sasuke and Sakura behind. In the mist, unprotected but fearless, Naruto willed a Shinzui Bunshin into existence. Chakra poured outside of Naruto and seemed to rapidly take form. Kakashi could see him from where he was trapped. Naruto. Run. He's too much for you. He won't be able to keep a water clone up if it's too far away from him. The Genin ignored the Jounin and continued concentrating on the technique. And then, Yamino Ruka and Taiji Mizuki stood to his left and right. You did well, Naruto. Kakashi's eyes widened from inside of the water prison. Humming from outside of Naruto's existence, both Mizuki and Iruka knew all about their predicament. I can't believe we've been reduced to being his toys, Mizuki growled out. And there's nothing we can do about it. It's what you deserve, Mizuki. Iruka bit out in equal harshness. He turned to Naruto. I want you to know I don't blame you for what's happened, Naruto. You couldn't have prevented it. Besides, in a way, you've made me immortal. When they die, Naruto. You can choose to absorb them back into you. But you cannot choose to release them from their captivity. Without you nearby, they will wither and die. They cannot move against you and cannot disobey you. They are quite convenient pieces of existence. So we're up against Mamachi Zabuza, the devil of the mist. Mizuki sighed and accepted his fate. Even if I don't want to, I don't really have a choice anyway. My life is not mine anymore. Stop complaining, they're coming. Naruto watched as Mizuki and Iruka dealt with 4 water clones, but the 5th managed to wound them both enough to drop them to the ground. Naruto watched their bodies drop to the ground and decided he would absorb them back into himself when the fight was over. Now they were slowly bleeding to death. The 5th water clone approached. What kind of clones were they? Shinzui Bunshin. Naruto answered. So 2 Chunin was too easy for you, huh? I guess I can't underestimate you. And you're just a water clone, imagine what the real one is like. The water clone Zabuza barked out a laugh. Exactly, kid. Now be a good boy and don't move. This time way quicker, Naruto warped out another clone out of himself. One with more chakra presence. The water clone's eyes widened as he recognized who stood before him. Even Kakashi's eyes widened in fear. Pitiful. Came the voice of Naruto's new slave. An elite Jounin of Konoha, trapped by a meager Suro no Jutsu. The newcomer turned his head over his shoulder and motioned at Naruto. Despite my permanent predicament, I am at least relieved to know this one holds much potential. Unlike you, Kakashi, this one will get very far. Shimura Zabuza started as he stepped back in caution. Danzo Kakashi finished in slight despair. Naruto simply grinned. Flashback. They say talking to yourself is the first sign of mental instability. Whipping his head around quickly, Naruto was surprised to see an old man standing in his apartment. I didn't sense this guy at all. He had been talking out loud to Kurama. Narrowing his eyes, he immediately sensed 5 incoming chakra presences that surrounded his apartment from the outside. He brought company. The chakra presence of the ever-present Anbu that was guarding him was gone. This meant that there was no visit under the Hokage's orders. Be careful, Naruto. This guy is very powerful. Who are you? He tried to be as intimidating as possible. I've heard you failed the Genin examination, Uzumaki Naruto. I have come with an offer. So the old man doesn't know you're here? Naruto suddenly grinned as he locked eyes with the man with the cane. I know what you're thinking, Naruto. Play it smart, this man is very wary. You'll have to be really quick. Then flashback. The switch is open, let me try first. I want to see how well my average has become. TCH. You're gonna get bitten. Danzo scowled menacingly as he found himself switched from several spots, 5 to be exact, in less than 3 seconds. But he was a seasoned elite shinobi from Konoha. He was not disoriented so easily and grabbed the offending limb that was about to connect with his face with disgusting ease. You attack me. Danzo stated calmly, even as Naruto's chakra raged around him. You obviously don't know who I am. Another 3 Kawarimi later and Naruto still found himself in the same predicament. You've infused the entire building with your chakra to perform this version of the replacement technique. an amusing trick, but not one I am unfamiliar with, I'm afraid. The one-eyed veteran let out as he slammed the blonde into the ground and motioned for his guards to stay put and continue surrounding the apartment complex with a chakra-suppressing presence. He was going to teach this boy a lesson. Erg. Naruto spat out blood as he felt his ribsage burst. You're not even a shinobi, boy. But you can become one if you follow my every word to the letter. Danzo tapped the cane in his right hand once. You can become legendary, Kyuubi Jinchuriki. And I will be. Naruto managed and slowly rose to his feet and glared at his adversary. Who are you? My name is Hamura Danzo. Was the calm answer given. You do well to mind your manners when faced with a superior. Who's the superior? Danzo couldn't even blink as he was grabbed from behind by a huge hand made out of red poisonous chakra. Kyuubi. To think he had let his guard down because he was just facing a weak punk. The chakra came from the floor. Danzo's guards were all pointing swords at Naruto the next instant. Call your men down or you die now, Shimura Danzo-kun. Ka. Danzo wanted to sign to his soldiers to take the boy down, but he felt that he couldn't control his own body. It felt as if he was slowly being drained of his energy. My chakra is fading. Darkly, the Kyuubi having temporarily taken over Naruto's body, chuckled as Danzo was slowly being drained from everything that he was. Seems I was right. My Jinchuriki isn't strong enough yet. But now he probably is, thanks to you. Already he and Naruto both received memories from Danzo. Shinobi of the darkness, indeed. The 5 root guards moved to attack, but Naruto was surrounded by defensive red, bubbling chakra. A defense not so easily penetrated. No one will hear your echoes. Naruto, content on watching things from inside, chuckled as he felt himself growing stronger. How convenient that my ability works even through your chakra, Kurama. I have some disturbing news, Kakashi. The No-Has copycat was standing in front of the fire leader's desk after having been told that his team would receive a C-ranked mission this afternoon. A mission to wave that could spiral into dangerous regions because Gato was involved. He could probably handle it, though. My old teammate hasn't been seen for a few days. Kakashi seemed to ponder on it for a bit before he turned serious. You mean Shimura Danzo? The Kage nodded his head in troubled fashion. I've spoken to some of his subordinates. You and I both know they cannot speak of anything root-related because of the silence Fu and Danzo has forced on them. He has been missing for more than a week, which has never happened before. If this week changes into 2 weeks, I will have to brand him Nukenin. He hasn't been killed. He is definitely still alive. The Fu and seal on his subordinates would have deactivated if he died. The aging leader's gaze turned dead serious, and Kakashi straightened his posture immediately. This is a dangerous situation, Kakashi. Who knows what that stubborn man is thinking? Your team in particular is in danger, seeing as you have the Kyuubi Jinchuriki and the last of the Uchiha under your wings. You might get targeted. So you're saying Team 7 won't accept the wave mission? You will accept. But I want you to use your dog summons around you at all times, and Team Guy will be half a day behind you. Hiruzen tilted his head slightly. But knowing Guy, that'll probably be less as that same day progresses. Understood. Kakashi was gaping like a fish as Danzo calmly strutted forward in almost bored fashion. He wasn't even considering Zabuza as he took in his surroundings. Just as calmly as he was walking, he moved the bandages on his head to the side to reveal a glaring Sharingan eye. Now he was focusing on Zabuza. Boy, I suggest you beg for mercy. Shaking himself out of his shock, Zabuza quickly found his courage and motioned for his accomplice to show himself too. Even you will have trouble against 2 A-rank shinobi. Danzo actually chuckled. He was quite enjoying this backseat kind of situation. So you noticed? Came Naruto's voice. Danzo looked over his shoulder and nodded his head to Naruto. In fact, it looked as if he nodded his thanks to the blonde. It might not be how I expected things to play out, but I have surely surpassed Hiruzen now. When performing the Shinzui Bunshin, Naruto can choose many things. To infuse the clone of essence with either his chakra, his blood or even blood, and or chakra from any he has absorbed. Right now, he infuses Danzo with his own Uzumaki blood. Blood of a descendant of the Senju. Blood that can make Danzo control both the Sharingan in his eye a lot easier, and blood that can actually perform jutsu with and control the Mokuton presence in his body. Yes, even though he was an undead slave now, he was feeling quite well. He wants some backup. Naruto grinned as he had his arms folded over one another. Sasuke and Sakura, way further back in the mist, couldn't see any of this. No. Danzo was resolute. I wish to test this thoroughly. Kakashi swallowed nervously as he saw Danzo perform hand seals. Mokuton Makuryu no Jutsu. Naruto grinned in perfect bliss. A huge wooden dragon shot out of Danzo's body and flew towards his 2 adversaries in menacing speed. Zabuza and Haku were already backpedaling in panic, the older performing hand seals in rapid fashion. The wood user. Zabuza-sama, what are we up against? Who is that boy? Haku was standing behind her mentor as he tried to fight off the wooden dragon with a water dragon. But it looked like the water dragon was simply being absorbed into the attack. This was to be expected as it was simply a water clone of Zabuza that performed the technique. That boy summoned this man to fight against us and now he's just looking past both Zabuza and Danzo, she noticed the blonde. Just sitting on the ground. The wooden dragon raged towards them, having added power to itself after completely devouring the water dragon Zabuza had uselessly used as a countermeasure. Haku, we have to run. This is too much. Zabuza's water clone evaporated and the real Zabuza swiftly released Kakashi from the water prison. You're not going anywhere, devil Zabuza. Danzo, having appeared by a speedy shunshin, was blocking his escape. Haku was approaching in the distance, but Danzo had already sliced Zabuza's right shoulder with a Futon technique. You'll be a fine addition. Haku raced as fast as he could but suddenly felt a horrible pain in his back. Falling to the ground and managing to look up, he saw the blonde boy from before, towering above him. A hunter nin from the mist, huh? I hope you're strong. She heard him say as he felt him put his hand to her head. 10 seconds later, she was no longer among the living. But for some reason, she still was. Sasuke and Sakura saw the mist clear away and noticed Naruto and Kakashi approaching them from a distance. They both could clearly see the huge sword Zabuza was using on Naruto's back. What had happened? Is that guy dead? The stutter came from Tazuna. Are we safe again? It could be a trick. Don't let your guard down. Sasuke ordered both Sakura and Tazuna. Why else would that blonde dunce be carrying that sword? But Sakura was confused but complied with Sasuke's order. Stand down, Zabuza has been killed. Kakashi ordered as he tried not to look at Naruto. As of now, Kakashi was sure the blonde could kill their entire squad. His analyzing mind was working overtime as he tried to understand Naruto's ability. Prove it. Say something only you know. You won't know something only I know, Sasuke. Naruto wasn't as reasonable as their instructor. Sasuke, you're an ass who's into guys. Naruto. Sakura tried to reprimand but realized it was actually proof. Shut up, clown. Did Kakashi give you that sword? Hey, I found it before he could pick it up. Naruto, next time stay with your comrades and protect the client. You can't just abandon an order. Naruto gave his sensei a sly look that spoke volumes but nodded his consent. Of course, Kakashi-sensei. So hesitantly, Tazuna stepped towards Kakashi. We're safe now? Kakashi was eyeing his team with clear suspicion in his eyes. They had arrived at the home of Tazuna's daughter, Tsunami. At the moment, they were all eating dinner in relative silence. Sasuke and Sakura were just normal rookie genin, but Naruto. That ability was very dangerous. After having thought about it for the entire day, Kakashi had come to several conclusions. The first was that he could summon people that he had absorbed. Yamino Ruka and Taiji Mizuki were evidence of that. He was no censor, but he could tell it was really them and not Naruto in disguise. The second conclusion was that the people he absorbed were actually still alive inside of Naruto. Shimura Danzo was the proof of that one, since the Silence Fuin seals were still active on Root Anbu and Konoha. So Danzo was still alive. But how did that work? If still alive, why would Danzo listen to Naruto and fight for him? Thus came the third conclusion. After being absorbed, you're still alive, but you become one of Naruto's soldiers, if you could call them that. Danzo would never willingly listen to a brat like Naruto, so there was no other explanation. But there were also revelations. Apparently, Shimura Danzo has a Sharingan eye and the Mokuton ability. What a dangerous man. And now that Zabuza and Haku were also absorbed, that meant Naruto could summon more soldiers to fight for him. What kind of monster would he become? His eye flashed to sudden Anbu hand signals and Kakashi immediately recognized them as talk in private. Seems Naruto has learned a few things from his absorbees. His eyes narrowed as he made a move for the door. That could also be a conclusion. Did Naruto learn everything from his absorbees instantly? Naruto, you and I are up for guard duty first. Sasuke, Sakura, get some rest. The minute they stepped out of the house, Naruto used Shunshin to get away fast. Kakashi gauged the speed in which he was moving and realized the blonde wanted him to follow. Do I trust him? Would Naruto absorb him? He chose to let a Kage Bunshin follow his student and followed after the clone. Humming at a clearing, the shadow clone found Naruto pouting. You wound me, Kakashi. You don't trust me enough. The reply wasn't immediate. Kakashi was thinking too much on how Naruto could recognize him being a shadow clone. Can you blame me? You have already taken 3 Konoha shinobi that I know of. That you know of, yes. Naruto's grin was too much like a cat's, and Kakashi didn't like it. Don't worry, I won't absorb you. And if you need to know, Danzo came to my house and started intimidating me. I simply finished a battle he couldn't win. The Kyuubi Jinchuriki turned serious here. You need to understand something, Kakashi. I will explain. Kakashi's Kage Bunshin turned very wary as Danzo, Haruka, Mizuki, Zabuza, and Haku melted out of Naruto's body in less than 2 seconds. No limit, then. I thought too, because he summoned Haruka and Mizuki first during that fight with Zabuza. You're a talented shinobi, Kakashi. Danzo started as he sat on the ground. Clever enough to know not to fight hopeless battles, I presume. You're still alive. Kakashi breathed out. In a way I am, but in many I am not. I have a limited will, but it is close to a completely free one, by my standards. There are only 2 things we cannot do. The aging Warhawk sighed as he played with his cane a bit. We cannot attack Uzumaki Naruto in any way, and we cannot disobey any order given by him. This is what keeps us alive. You didn't know you had a monster like him under you, Kakashi. Zabuza seemed annoyed, and Haku, next to him, sad. I got turned into a fucking slave soldier. Haruka stepped forward this time. Kakashi-san. Naruto is a good boy, he won't harm Konoha. You can still trust him despite this horrid ability. How do I know he didn't order you to say that, Haruka-san? Kakashi wasn't sure whether Naruto could mentally send orders around between these creations of his. Apparently summoning them wasn't tiring, because Naruto himself was simply standing amongst them with a grin on his face. You don't. This time it was Mizuki who answered. But you need to know no one will be able to stop this kid. He knows everything, and by everything I mean Mizuki glared at the ground. More than you and I will ever know. As of right now, Naruto is loyal to Konoha. Since I can only follow him, I wish for this to remain. Konoha hasn't treated the boy well. Danzo's single eye was glaring at Kakashi. It is in your best interest to make sure Naruto stays loyal to Konoha. I'm standing right here, Danzo. My actions are mostly controlled by you, my speech it seems, isn't. Danzo shrugged to Naruto, as long as you fight for Konoha, I don't necessarily mind the situation. All of the absorbes vaporized like wisps of smoke back into Naruto with a simple thought. I am getting really used to this ability of mine. His head suddenly twitched and Kakashi was instantly on guard. 4 shinobi are approaching Tazunza's house. He dropped his alert demeanor a bit since he had an idea on who it could be and used his nose. Don't worry, it's a Konoha team. Interesting. The hair on the back of Kakashi's neck stood up as he watched Naruto narrowed his eyes on him. None of what I've learned so far told me your nose was this advanced. We were almost a mile away from the house and you smelled them so easy. What about you? Kakashi countered. You sensed this far ahead. The blonde grinned. See? They are about a mile away from the house in the opposite direction. We both learned from each other our radius of scent and sense is at least 2 miles. Quite a lot for a nose. Allow me to enlighten you a bit, sensei. Among the team, there's a young Hyuga. His eyes Kakashi just now noticed that Naruto's eyes have turned a few shades lighter. Was it like that before? For how long? Did he absorb a Hyuga? And if so, is he able to use their ability, should it even be a bloodline limit, through those he has absorbed? Does that also mean he can use Danzo Sharingan? The copy nin rubbed his head in frustration. Too many questions. I am a shinobi from Konoha, sensei. He walked past a man and started back towards Tazuna's house. Perhaps you shouldn't see me as a threat to my own village. I don't know how your ability works. Perhaps you take over personalities too. The Jounin followed after him. Danzo, in many ways, was a threat to his own village. You have that, Naruto instantly countered. We should hurry, the Konoha Jounin will surely see through the Kage Bunshin we left behind. How? My eternal rival. Naruto's left eyebrow went up at the sudden scream from the Konoha Jounin. He and Kakashi made it back before the reinforcements got to the house. From all the memories inside of him, he could easily tell who the 4 new arrivals were. Courtesy of. The Jounin was Mido Gai, one of the few elite Jounin Konoha held. In Danzo's Root Anbu, there were only few that could go toe-to-toe with this man. This was Konoha's Taijutsu expert. The carbon copy, much younger, stood next to him. This was to be Konoha's next Taijutsu expert. Rock Lee, a promising genin, even though he would never be able to perform either ninjutsu or genjutsu. Then there was Hyuga Neji, supposedly a genius prodigy. Naruto couldn't wait to kick this boy's teeth through the back of his skull, just from the arrogance this boy was exuding. He hadn't absorbed a Hyuga, but according to Kurama the Byakugan was derived from the eyes he was sporting. Already he was learning new things with his eyes. Perhaps absorbing a Hyuga could help with this. Preferably one from the main house. The final member of Team Guy was Ten. One of the very few current Konoha genin who was a bit talented in Fuinjutsu. Her specialty though, lay in weapons. All of them. Naruto grinned because, thanks to Zabuza, he was now immensely proficient with the sword that currently rested in Tezuna's house. Did you just arrive? This must be one of your promising young students. Naruto nodded his head enthusiastically and screamed back. I am the amazing Uzumaki Naruto. Never heard of this kid. Neji thought. Looks like he just picked up some clothes from the ground somewhere and put them on. Was Tenten's first thought. Naruto had his entire attire changed the day after Sasuke had made a cruel comment about it. That was when Kakashi made them get to know one another a bit better. Naruto wore an oversized light gray long-sleeved t-shirt. His hands were hidden from view, but Kakashi had already spotted gauntlets underneath. Naruto's collarbone and even the upper part of his chest was in full view. His shorts reached till below his knees and were also oversized, colored dark gray. His sandals were black and seemed very worn out. The hit I ate from Konoha was lazily but tightly spun around the right sandal. It was very bent because of that and hardly noticeable. Yosh. My name is Rock Lee. May we both become legendary Konoha shinobi, Naruto-kun. Naruto gladly shook Lee's hand. Yes, we will. Your students will become very strong, Kakashi. Guy commented from the side. How is the mission going? Well, here the gray-haired veteran scratched the back of his head. So far we've already dealt with Kiri's demon brothers, Mamachi's Zabuza, and a hunter nin from Kiri. He was speaking as if it was no big deal, but Guy was a bit shocked. Your first C-rank mission and you run into an A-rank nuke nin. Even Neji was shocked. Yeah, but Kakashi-sensei handled them all with ease. Naruto quickly explained with a thumbs up. We didn't even have to do anything. Obviously. Neji sneered, at which Naruto simply pointed his thumbs up at him. Amazing. As expected of my eternal rival. It was no big deal. Let's get inside and say hello to the rest of my team. Naruto, stay outside and keep guard. A few minutes after they stepped inside, Naruto summoned Zabuza, Haku, Danzo, and the 5 root Anbu he had absorbed. Kill Geto. Zabuza and Haku will lead the way. There shouldn't be any strong people left. Danzo, if possible, transfer all his money to your account. Even without his sword, Zabuza was still very powerful. This will also let him know how far his Shinzui Bunshin could travel from him if necessary. He will just join this hunt. As Team Guy and Team 7 got ready for the trek back home, Neji couldn't help but notice the huge sword on Naruto's back. But it was Tenten that asked about it. Hey. That's Kubikiri Haucho. It's one of the legendary swords, wielded by Mamachi Zabuza, one of the 7 swordsmen of the mist. Why are you carrying it? She couldn't contain her excitement one bit. Well, Kakashi didn't need it and I'm the only one in our team that can fight with swords. Sasuke twitched and Sakura's mouth dropped open. They didn't know Naruto could handle swords. Hell, they didn't even believe it. Oh. How about a spar, then? Your name was Naruto, right? I don't spar. Was Naruto's instant response. It reveals my techniques. Clever. Sasuke and Sakura were surprised to see Kakashi appear next to the blonde. But sparring is a necessary way of training. It helps you get ready for an opponent who could be similar to your sparring partner. Yeah, see. Let's spar, Naruto. Naruto simply ignored Tenten. I don't think it's wise to spar with a sword, sensei. Oh. How courageous. Young Naruto-kun is afraid he will hurt you, Tenten. Guy was just as sneaky as Kakashi, suddenly appearing behind the until now silent Lee and Neji. Oh, how truly wonderful. Naruto-kun is amazing. Lee instantly joined. Tenten, however, wasn't as amused as if a rookie genin could hurt me. Perhaps in Konoha, Tenten. We should be on the move. Guy ordered. Kakashi nodded the same to his team. Neji regarded the blonde Naruto one last time before considering him a weakling after all. The only one in Team 7 worth something was Uchiha Sasuke. Perhaps he would request a spar back in Konoha. About a minute after he had dismissed his team from the Hokage's office, a knock came to the door. Kakashi was just about to inform Hiruzen about Naruto's ability and about Danzo when Danzo walked in, followed by Naruto. Hiruzen, I come with interesting news. The Hokage started with a surprised snort. Danzo. Where have you been these past 2 weeks? Actually, I was just about to say Kakashi tried to start, but Danzo stepped next to him and silenced him with a wave of his hand. I was busy killing Geto in Wave Country. Here Kakashi narrowed his eyes. I felt it necessary because he was becoming a threat to the greater nations. I thought I had forbidden you from taking such actions. Danzo. The office was suddenly filled with a menacing presence. Hiruzen glared at Danzo, but seemed to suddenly notice Naruto. Why is Naruto here? He was surprised. Danzo chuckled at the question. He has absorbed me, Hiruzen. That's why I went missing. Hiruzen's head snapped to Naruto quicker than any thought possible. Thawa Naruto. It's true. The blonde admitted. The night after Kakashi failed me, Sakura and Sasuke, Danzo approached me. I managed to touch him. But Hiruzen blinked at the sudden information. That mean that the people you absorb stay alive? Kakashi sighed to himself. It seemed everything he wanted to say would be said by either his student or Danzo. Yes, they stay alive in a way. You know what that means, right? It means I never killed Iruka-sensei or Mizuki. They're still alive. Naruto started to explain. But they cannot live for long, as the only thing keeping them alive outside of my body is my chakra. Quite similar to elemental bunshin, actually. I've experimented a bit and it seems Naruto chose to lie in this instant as both Kakashi and Hiruzen could become enemies. Who knows what the future holds? The limit is a mile. After a mile, they die like any normal person would. They are automatically returned to you. I can choose to dispel them, which will make them return to me automatically, yes. He answered Hiruzen's question next. But when they die, I can choose to absorb them back or just let them die. They're not returned automatically. Naruto's brain started working instantly here. Which means, if they, or any other opponent, fought me, they would probably kill my Shinzui Bunshin and prevent me from absorbing them again. So before they die, I should dispel them. In truth though, the Shinzui Bunshin could move farther and they would be dispelled when moving too far, returning back to the summoner. What an ability, Naruto. I'm still getting used to it. He admitted. Kakashi-sensei is kinda giving me a hard time because of this ability. That was understandable, though. To everyone's surprise, it was Danzo who reacted. Kakashi was probably informed of my disappearance and learned on this mission that you were responsible for it. In clear words, it means you attacked a fellow shinobi in Konoha. But that was self-defense. A lie, but no one needed to know that. Danzo inwardly grimaced but went along with it. He didn't have a choice in the matter anyway. Naruto's orders to him were absolute. Indeed, I did attack him that night. But only to scare him. I never thought this would be the consequence of my action. So now you just follow Naruto around? Hiruzen asked skeptically. Why? How does this work? Danzo's expression hardened here. I am dead, Hiruzen. The only way I still live is if he summons me. He can choose to dispel me anytime he wishes. Then why don't you kill him, Danzo? Hiruzen's expression was also hardened. Kakashi gulped nervously, while Naruto just seemed amused. It seems your hearing is failing you in your old age, Hiruzen, as mentioned before, the only thing keeping me semi-alive is his chakra. If he dies, his chakra will go with him. Which in turn means I die, too. Danzo snorted. I would do many things frowned upon in life, but suicide is not one of them. Perhaps you should inform Hokage-sama about your other absorbees. The only genin in the office raised an eyebrow in question at Kakashi. You're gonna call them absorbees? What do you call them, then, Naruto? The oldest in the office asked. Hiruzen was slightly older than Danzo. Shinzui Bunshin. Clone of essence. Was the easy answer to Hiruzen. But is it possible too? Or insiders? Rehumans. Second chancers. The undead, wait that's wrong, they're really dead so unliving. Enough. Tell me who you have absorbed so far. Fine. Instead of answering, Naruto summoned everyone, and easily too, Hiruzen noticed. Introduce yourselves. The blonde ordered. They couldn't disobey. Toji Mizuki. The silver-haired Chunin wasn't looking at the fire leader. Imino Iruka. The former teacher offered an apologetic look. Shimura Danzo. This surprised both Hiruzen and Kakashi since Danzo was already present. But it seemed the order went to everyone. Interesting fact. Yamanaka Fu. The rude Anbu removed his mask to reveal orange hair and blue eyes. Aburam Torin. The one with the acid bugs, Hiruzen recalled. Narahayo. The promising Nara orphan that vanished from the academy years ago. Hiruzen should have known. Yuma Yukio. A purple-haired 20-something-year-old woman. Her hair reached past her collarbone and her eyes were also purple. Hiruzen looked slightly surprised. Of course Danzo would recruit outside of Konoha. Knowing the old Warhawk, he would recruit only the best, too. The Fuma clan was known for their talent with chakra threads. Hedu Nakari. The fifth and final root agent. This woman had her long dark green hair tied in a ponytail reaching just above her butt. Her appearance could be a lie, though, as their ability to impersonate another was unrivaled. Yuki Haku. Hiruzen's eyes and Kakashi's eyes widened as the identity of the Kiri Hunter Nin was now revealed. To think Naruto could summon the last of the Yuki clan. Lamachi Zabuza. His name alone was enough for the people in the office to know who this was. The Devil of the Mist. Naruto seemed a bit bored as he stood behind his army. Hey, old man. Is this enough? I'm kind of on a tight schedule. Naruto. I order you to refrain from touching anyone in Konoha. I can tell you're not wearing the gloves I gave you under those long sleeves. Care to tell me why you're wearing others? Don't worry about it, I can control my ability. Besides, those gloves make me look suspicious. These make me look cool. He pulled one of his sleeves up and revealed a dark gray gauntlet. But it seems I wasn't original, those two demon brothers wore similar gauntlets, he complained a bit. Grabbing his smoke pipe and getting ready to smoke from it, Hiruzen shot the people in the office an exasperated look. Can you dispel your army, Naruto? This office is kind of small. But you asked me to. Naruto got cut off. I ask you to tell me, not show me. Everyone disappeared, except for Danzo. Hiruzen, I have things to discuss. I think you should dismiss Hada Kakashi first. Kakashi felt like he was out of his depth already, anyway. I have information on Orochimaru's whereabouts. As soon as Kakashi had left, Danzo started. You're probably wondering why I'm going to share this information. Yes, I am. I always knew you were keeping things from me, don't take me for a fool. You should know I let you. I know you let me. You still feel a form of comradeship with me. Believe it or not, I feel the same. Hiruzen's expression didn't change. So? Why are you telling me this now? I have many alliances across the nations, Hiruzen. Now that I am no longer alive, I can break all of them and betray them all. One such alliance I am quite eager to destroy. The alliance with Orochimaru. Blowing some smoke out, Hiruzen glared at his rival. Naruto was seated in one of the two chairs in front of the Hokage's desk, Danzo in the other. He was actually regarded as an equal now. I can't say I'm surprised. Surely you joined hands with my wayward student to reach for the Hokage's title. He shook his head in disappointment. Why you always slither towards your goals will always be the question. It is in the past now. We can both be rest assured. Now with this trump card, with Naruto's ability and him being the Kyuubi Jinchuriki, Konoha has jumped up in strength. I believe we should make a preemptive strike. Preemptive? The war is coming, Hiruzen. I know for a fact that Orochimaru is meeting with the Kazekage in a few days. Why should I believe that? The dead man has no reason to lie. Have you heard of Itagakure? The Sound Village? I've heard a bit. Nothing good. Around the region many people have been reported missing. Many shinobi. Exactly. Itagakure is Orochimaru's newly formed village. I wish to bring it to the ground. He has many promising shinobi I wish for young Naruto to absorb. Everything he knows I know, old man. Naruto interjected. He didn't really come up with this plan. I learned of a few interesting shinobi with bloodline limits that currently reside within Odo. I wish for them to become mine. Their ability is changing you, Naruto. I don't know if that is necessarily a good thing. Care to tell me what Kekkei Genkai interest you? He has a Kagaya, a Hazuki, and a Shoten user, but that is all that Danzo knows. There are more, most likely. Before we can do all that, however, I believe we should take care of one of my hidden soldiers first. But hidden soldiers, Danzo clearly meant a rude Anbu disguising as a normal Konoha shinobi. And who would that be? Ikushi Kabuto. He is actually working for Orochimaru, too. Perhaps absorbing him will tell us more. Danzo suggested. But he is a Konoha shinobi currently. Won't he be missed? He's a fake, Hiruzen. He has nobody tied to him in Konoha. Sandaime put his pipe down and considered the two in front of him. Scheming to take down an entire village. You're sure a war is coming? Danzo and Naruto both didn't want to tell too much. Yes, a war is definitely coming. I don't know why he has requested a meeting with the Kazekage, but I know Orochimaru was sending 2 Odo teams to participate in the coming Chunin exams. He would instigate a war during these exams. That is all I know. The veteran sighed. Regrettably, I would help him. I apologize, Hiruzen, but I agreed to let him and his army enter Konoha unnoticed. What was your price? The killing intent from the third didn't come unexpected. Danzo didn't really care much for it since he was already dead. They needed to be careful here since they needed the third's trust. Danzo stood from his chair and unraveled the bandages around his right shoulder. Orochimaru's experiments, he wasn't doing them alone. I was in on it, through Rude. In fact, Orochimaru was one of my Rude Anbu. The killing intent grew, and Naruto had to clench his fists to stay unaffected. When the old Sarutobi saw Danzo's shoulder, it intensified. You dared. Such sacrilege. Shadaime's blood. Yes. Senju Hashirama's blood. I need his help to control it. He was the one experimenting, but you found out about it before we reached a conclusion. He never finished this particular experiment. I cannot control this power. Old man, please don't attack Danzo. Hiruzen coldly ignored Naruto. That's why you still need Orochimaru. Although he didn't need the snake anymore, thanks to Naruto's ability, yes. He still lied. What is your plan, then? Or should I ask Naruto? Yes, you should ask me. With a flick of his fingers, Danzo was absorbed back into Naruto to Hiruzen's amazement. I have all of his abilities, old man. All of his and all of theirs combined, not averaged. Accumulated. That's impossible, you can't control that much chakra. No, I can't. Not alone. Here, Naruto grinned. But I'm not alone. Sandane narrowed his eyes. The ones you absorb help you control it inside of you? No, Kyuubi helps me. You can't trust it, Naruto. This ability of yours is frightening enough. Old man, don't worry, I still want to become Hokage and protect Konoha until I die. The blonde put a finger to his chin. Danzo wanted to go to Otogakure immediately, but I think that's a mistake. He agrees with me now, I'm sure. We can't let Orochimaru know we already know of his plans. Yakushi Kabuto is set to participate in the coming Chunin exams, as well. I'll absorb that traitor during the exams, Hokage-sama. And why then? If I do it now, Orochimaru will surely grow suspicious. Naruto Hiruzen rose from his chair. Tell me, what have you learned from and of your ability so far? A nervous chuckle was the first answer. Well, according to the Kyuubi, this ability is ancient and said to have died off long ago. He said the Sage of the Six Paths killed the last user of this ability personally. The Sage of the Six Paths? The first chakra-wielding man? Yes. Apparently, this ability was wielded once before and only once. By the brother of the sage. What an eventful day. Tell me about it. Inside of Naruto's mindscape. Hamura's eyes, they are still somewhat alive today, in the eyes of the Hyuga. Kurama started. They look similar, I have observed, but they are far weaker. Hamura could do things with his eyes the Hyuga needed extra techniques for. The Byakugan is a weaker version of what Hamura carried. I have already noticed a few things, Kurama. Naruto grinned. When I want to see something farther ahead in a clearer view, my view automatically zooms in on what I want to see, being able to even see through trees and stuff. Yes, like the Byakugan, your eyes can see through objects. It means you can also see inside human bodies. I believe you should focus on that specifically. Hamura could let the insides of men explode just by looking at them, but at the cost of temporary blindness. The Hyuga seem to have developed the Jyuukin to copy this element of the Dijutsu. The Hyuga can't do anything with just a glance, they need the chakra gathered in a specific way in their fingers to do damage inside a body. I believe you don't need this gentle fist style. I'll experiment with my Shinzui Bunshin. Let's see what these eyes can do. Sasuke was doing some standard Taijutsu practice when Naruto approached the training grounds Team 7 often frequented. Kakashi and Sakura hadn't arrived yet. You're early, dead last. Couldn't carry the sword with you? He left Zabuza's sword and a scroll in one of his pockets. If he ever summoned Zabuza, he would summon the sword, as well. I left it somewhere safe. Sasuke went back to his kata, intent on ignoring his useless teammate. The young Uchiha was frustrated. So far, their missions hadn't given him any increase in strength. Their latest mission could have, if Kakashi hadn't done all the work. Really, what's the point if the Jounin was going to do everything? He hadn't even activated his Sharingan yet. That Hyuga boy from the other team requested a spar, but Sasuke already knew the outcome of that spar. Niji would wipe the floor with him. He didn't like losing, so he told the older boy he wasn't in the mood to fight weaklings. First, the Sharingan, then he would beat everyone into submission. Then, he would kill Itachi. Nah, Sasuke. I'm busy, dead last. But you're doing it wrong. He dares. Instead of bothering to reply, Sasuke dashed towards Naruto and got ready to plant a heavy elbow in the blonde's face. I'll show you Ron-Omf. Naruto instead planted his fist in the Uchiha's stomach and followed up by grabbing Sasuke by the collar calmly. See? You would be able to dodge this fist otherwise. He couldn't dodge Naruto's fist in his face and was sent careening to the ground in immense pain. Naruto didn't hold back in strength. I'm done holding back, Sasuke. And I'm done hearing you call me dead last. I thought we went over that already. Was that necessary, Naruto? Turning around, Naruto nodded his head in certainty. He had sensed Kakashi and Sakura approaching them seconds ago. It was. He needs to activate his Sharingan. I'll kick it into his eyes. I request a spar, Uchiha Sasuke. Sasuke managed to rise from the ground and spat out blood to his right. Naruto simply grinned at the Uchiha's sneer. Kakashi seemed hesitant but understood Naruto's logic. He would allow this spar if Sasuke accepted. Sakura hadn't seen what happened but was confused. Naruto wanted to spar with Sasuke. He was about to get his ass kicked and he was smiling about it. You're on, Sasuke readied himself. Dead last. He spat out in contempt. Naruto's look has hardened considerably. Who you've done it now. Thanks for watching my video and make sure to check out the author of this fanfic, link is in the description, see you next time, till then sayonara.